additional final question and comment, because I'd be afraid that if we get close to our first show, we may have to come in and charge admission to everyone who's sitting in the seats.
Not a bad idea.
My name is Patrick McCabe. I live in Hyde Park. I'm a father. I know you mentioned you're a father, and I think most people in this room have fathers. I'm concerned about what's going on in our country, that fathers are treated as second-class citizens. And I'd like to draw your attention to two pieces of legislation that I'd like to ask a question. First of all, is the Violence Against Women Act. It's an act that I truly support, but I'm also aware that some of those funds are used to bash men. There are some groups that want to claim that domestic violence is a problem that men have. I know that domestic violence is not a gender issue, and I hope it would take care of when looking at that legislation that it does not support hatred. The other issue is the Fatherhood Initiative, which seems to have the idea that fathers are bad and need to have legislation to make them good. Most fathers that are behind on child support are behind because they're poor. They need their help. They don't need to be beaten up. Finally, in trying to draw attention to responsible fathers, I have worked with other people who put a banner up in the State House celebrating Father's Day. We've been told that that's not an appropriate statement to make in our State House. And I was hoping that you would do something to help us celebrate Father's Day this year.
Okay, well, thank you. I think those are state initiatives. Is that correct? Those are, I'm in.
VAWA and the Fatherhood Initiative are federal.
Are they? Okay. I'll take a look at it. Obviously, you know, I'm a dad. You know, I'm totally for gender equality. I can't wait till men achieve equality. Let me explain that. I grew up in a house with 5 sisters. I had 5 sisters, no brothers. I spent most of my youth waiting to use the bathroom. We grew up on the housing project in South Boston with 1 bathroom, and while my sisters could all kind of like share, I would be standing outside doing a strange version of the Irish jig, waiting to use the bathroom. I think I was 14 before I got to use the phone, because my sisters were always, but my life has been run by women, and they've done a pretty good job, they say. And now I'm in a household with, for a while there was myself, my wife, my 2 girls, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. So I'm back in a house with overwhelming numbers on the women's side. I understand, I don't mean to make light of the issue that you speak of. I understand that there are predilections or there are presumptions in the court regarding custody and the rights of dads. And I obviously think that in some cases, on a case-by-case basis, some cases that you know, it's sort of a rebuttable presumption that you know, the mom is probably the person who is most nurturing and supportive of the parent, and that may not necessarily be true. That's the difficulty with general laws. We pass general laws, and so you have one law, and then you have these exceptions that come up where the general law doesn't necessarily meet with a requisite degree of justice. So we'll try our best to get closer to that perfect ideal, but again, you know, it'll take some work and some thoughtful deliberation before we get there. But I appreciate the question. I think, did you say that was the last question?
Congressman, on the VAWA, is there any way to put evidence-based solutions into domestic violence laws?
What was the question?
It's about the VAWA.
I'm Brian Hutchins from Northern Massachusetts. I'm also a father too, from the School Institute. And I just want to, with the domestic violence laws and things like VAWA, instead of just having, you know, somebody can make a civil allegation without the evidence and be entitled to all the domestic violence entitlement, I want to have evidence-based solutions included in that, so you don't have to get the entire form that you get.
Yeah. You know, I'm not a member of a committee that deals with it on a regular basis. I'm not an attorney that deals with domestic violence. You know, certainly I think that there should be some protection against random and unsubstantiated claims. And I don't know how you get there with, and at the same time make sure that women have full and fair access to the court and to redress when they're in a dangerous situation where their physical safety is at risk. So you've got to try to strike that balance. And you know, we've all seen horrific situations where even when a restraining order was put in place, you know, women have been murdered and assaulted, notwithstanding those precautions that we take. So we're trying to balance the safety of women who are in a vulnerable situation and the rights of contesting spouses or former spouses with respect to the rights within marriage. Again, it goes back to the general law situation. Well, I guess I understand your issue, but I think it would be pointless for me, with the limited knowledge I have, to try to debate the intricacies. I don't think it would be time well spent in this forum, you know, to get into all that. But I appreciate your passion and your interest, and outside of this forum, you know, I'm glad to hear your concerns, and maybe you can educate me so that I can make a better decision and be more informed on that issue. And I apologize that you've probably exhausted the limit of my ability and my knowledge on this issue.
And Congressman, folks, we understand there's a lot more questions to be asked, but unfortunately the time is limited, and I was joking, but we are seriously under contract with studios, so we are obligated to start a movie. I did let someone know that they would be allowed to make a final statement, and then the Congressman won't respond, but will respond privately. I know that if you have additional questions, there's a table out front with cards. Please fill them out and leave your name and number, and I am confident the Congressman will get back. So we're going to close it with one final comment, and then we'll not have a response from the Congressman.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dorothy Blitzer from Dedham, and I understand you have no time to answer, but perhaps you would reply separately and address this on your website or at another venue. I'd like to talk about the private security forces and contractors over in our war zones. I'm wondering, for example, Blackwater. I'm wondering if these are covered under our defense budget or paid outside of the defense budget. On your graph, I see that there's a portion allotted to defense. I don't know whether the war budget is included there and whether that includes Blackwater, etc. What that figure would be, how much we are actually spending per contractor versus per U.S. troop, and how these are going to be rated with the understanding that they will be left over there when we pull out. In addition, how long these contracts are going to be, such that when we pull our troops out, how long are we actively paying money in there that no one is considering? So I wonder if you might address those.
Yeah, let me just, I don't want people to go without a response. We have thousands of contractors over there. Some of them